The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Oh, it's your Saturday afternoon delight. Welcome back to it. Ramblers Unleashed on the air on YouTube.com. And we're happy to be here with you on a super Saturday. Hope your afternoon is going well. Lots to discuss today as far as what's been happening in the world of professional wrestling. But let me get to our introductions. First and foremost, we do have an update on the whole Baron disappearance from about 2 weeks ago. As previously reported, Baron was kidnapped by Liv Morgan, and the show hired a crack team of investigators dubbed the Ramblers Bureau of Investigations. And recently, guys, they uncovered a photo that was missing when they handed us the report packet. And I know that we do have that photo. J-Bone, is it supersized, ready to go?
I have it. I have it here. I can present it whenever you want.
The truck is ready. Okay. All right, give me just one moment, because before we show it, I just want to point out that this does solidify the fact that Baron was indeed held hostage by Liv Morgan. Let's go ahead and
the leaks are out, boys. The leaks are out.
Let's go ahead and show the photo, please. Go ahead from the truck. There it is.
Wow,
that is the photo. Does that? I mean, that is proof to me, and I want to notice. I want to note the hearts too, right? Because the hearts, those are real hearts. Those are coming from both Liv and I would assume Baron too. But Baron, how your hair grew? How did that happen, man? I love it.
So does Shane.
No comment on the hair, but the biggest heart that was on that photo was obviously coming from me. I'm just glad to be back with you guys. It was excruciating, let me tell you.
Yeah, I want to bring that back up just for a second. I noticed something here. I mean, you clean up nice, Baron, but I noticed, man, you were there so long, your hair grew. My goodness.
Yeah, so like on the show, I just like to bundle up my hair up here, so it's out of the way. So I do have a long, beautiful shred of hair. I hope everybody knows that.
I'm a little jealous.
Yeah. Look, guys, underneath that hat is a beautiful lock of hair, and he doesn't show it
off to everybody, dude. Come on.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
One hair. Oh.
Yeah.
Because it would take away from the show, and he doesn't want to do that. So
I'm already taking up, a little bit of the screen, and with the hair, it would just be way too much.
The hair would be magnificent. I mean, it would be spectacular, be fucking majestic if we're being real, So, but yeah, that is the photo. I know it's a big word for me. So that is the photo that we have from our RBI team. And again, thank you to the RBI who helped us get that photo and helped us get our Baron back so that he can join us for shows and Baron, again, we're happy to have you. Are you having a good weekend, Baron?
Dude, it's been great so far. I mean, it's Saturday. I had to work. I've been working a lot lately, which it's fine, but you gotta take a little break here and there. So hopefully we're gonna venture out and go do some stuff later on after the show. I know Sam's on that damn list, so grocery stores and that stuff is like way too much for me.
Well, watch out.
Taxes crumbling.
Oh, I know. Well, watch out for the big black vans that could be following you, because Liv could be at it again. Just to let you know.
If they open the door, I might just happen to slip in there. I'm just throwing it out there.
Ooh, they got candy. Especially
Liv, wait. Yeah, let me go.
Did someone say candy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can hear Baron right. I can hear Baron right now. Oh no, please live. Let me go. Oh no, Baron, please
Don't
live.
You know
Stop.
what? What's really
Don't
sad to think of? I've never ever not went to a van, because most vans, they're always selling like food and candy and stuff out of them. So I just directly go to them.
Yeah.
And
Rugs.
Well, yeah, obviously drugs.
championship.
But that has changed now. That has changed. We are in 2024. We can go and buy it at a store, which is cool. But you know, the fun of going to the van was always the best part of it all.
Yeah. In those dark alleys, you know, those were the days.
Oh, nobody's buying weed in dark alleys. No, thank you.
Yeah. Some dank weed. Max Magis is MIA. I would assume he's on assignment. We don't know exactly what assignment he gave himself, so I guess we'll have to find that out if he decides to join us today. But let's introduce the producer of our show, the man, the myth, the absolute legend. For without his tech wizardry and the gizmos that he brings to this wonderful show, plus his vast wrestling knowledge and his missus, because she graciously gifts us his time to do this show, the host of Smash This Podcast for Life and Total Nonstop Impact with the latest TNA reviews on YouTube over any other podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the great and infamous J-Bone Golfers. Clap for both J-Bone and the Bear.
Golfers clap. That was
I know. I'm so sorry. J-Bone, you are ready to go, sir, because you have a very refreshing beverage in your cup, do you not?
I do. I'm trying to add a little bit of class on Saturdays now to the show, so I'm drinking mimosas.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, pinky's up. We discussed this off the air. You have to do your pinky up when you take a sip.
Well, if I stick my pinky up, I'm gonna dump this. So I don't know.
Well, pinky this way. That's fine. I mean, it'll go up when you take a drink. It's okay. It's all right.
Mimosa. Okay.
Little mimosa, man. It's awesome.
This is what we were drinking when I told you last week when my kids were over. We were, all dining together and having mimosas and joking around and telling stories and whatnot. And my wife bought a mango one. The mango, I don't know if it's the same brand, but it was a mango mimosa. And I was like, oh, yeah, that bottle was mine.
Yeah. Mango mimosa, though, sounds really good, honestly. When I went to South Carolina about a couple years ago, I had a cranberry mimosa. Oh, brother.
Oh,
let me tell you.
Cranberry.
I love cranberry juice. They had an amazing mimosa made of cranberry and orange juice, so I had to get both. I'm like, well, which one's better?
Like a cran orange. Nice.
Yeah, which one's better? Is it cranberry? Is it orange juice? I liked both, but I did prefer cranberry. So, well, I'm glad everybody is having a good weekend. Let's talk some wrestling. We got a lot to dive into today. We do have from the desk of Max Magis if he ever comes in here, but we also have Baron's 999 moment later on today. Big news in the world of professional wrestling. Has been going on, including the return of Rhea Ripley on Raw, and the Bloodline still continues to solidify their dominance in SmackDown. And let's start that off because the Bloodline saga has been going on for years, and it seems like WWE intends for it to continue for the foreseeable future. Solo Sikoa now leads the Bloodline with a new group of allies standing beside him. This week's episode of SmackDown followed last week's developments. Last night, the Bloodline saga continued, and we saw that the Bloodline made their way out to the ring after DIY retained the tag team titles, which is congratulations to DIY on that. Solo Sikoa mentioned that not only did he kick Jimmy Uso out of the bloodline, but he also got rid of Paul Heyman, and he brought up Roman Reigns too. But we were kind of wondering where he was going. Yeah, there you go, man. They just look so dominant, man. Especially Jimmy or Jacob Fatu, man. Gee, Manelli,
he's a monster.
Yeah,
he's just an absolute monster. But before Solo, after Solo talked about Roman Reigns acknowledging him, he wanted to express that Cody Rhodes needs to acknowledge him too. And before he could finish his sentence, Cody came out and Cody expressed a desire for the same goals as Solo. And suggested that they need to consult with Nick Aldis, but the match is on as far as he sees it. That was followed up by the bloodline surrounding Cody. Randy Orton came out to try to make a save, and that didn't really help because both Cody and Randy took a brutal beat down, and Orton was even put through the announce table with a Shield style a triple power bomb. And a good way to end SmackDown, honestly, and to solidify the Bloodline saga even more. So, did you guys watch it? And I'm also happy that Fox didn't really do as many blackouts this week. Maybe they're taming it down for Fox. I don't know, but
well, I don't think there were many. There weren't a lot of like holy shit moments or stuff like that.
The only holy shit moment was when Randy went through the table and they started saying "F you Solo."
Yeah.
So that's the only time that they ever really cut the audio out of that. But
I guess I don't ever notice it. You know what I'm saying? Like I do feel like they do cut off some, but I feel like they let a lot of slide on SmackDown. And they're going to have to, like, just think when they go to Monday night on Netflix, like, they're allowed to do whatever they truly want, honestly.
Yep.
So, people they can't block it out on SmackDown, too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that wouldn't jive very well. I don't know.
I think you're right. I think when Raw officially moves to SmackDown or officially moves to Netflix and SmackDown goes to USA, they'll be given a bit of a longer leash with allowing, what USA will allow them to do on television.
Yeah. They're not going to go TVMA or nothing, but I'm sure
possibly TV 14.
Yeah, and I don't expect them to do that either on Netflix. I don't. You're not going to get like this TV mature like everybody thinks going to happen.
No, I don't.
They're going to still do their thing, but they're going to, they'll be able to get away with a little bit more. That's not bad.
Yeah. Well, also go ahead, J-Bone. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Have you seen the new SummerSlam poster that just got dropped?
Fire.
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's fire.
Oh, you're gonna love this. If you want to know who's moving up in the ranks, check this out. Look at this.
Yeah, that's fire.
Wow.
They've done a lot of Twitter's done a lot of memes to this too, where they've taken them like a McDonald's drive-through and the Barbie poster. It's pretty.
Oh God!
Yeah, no, I'll have to find it. Yeah, that's fire, dude. That looks sick.
That's fire. Yeah, that's good. I like that, and it just really solidifies the fact that Bloodline's getting a big push, and we're setting up something big for SummerSlam, and we're going to get to that rumor coming up here in just a few. But another thing that happened on SmackDown, LA Knight came out to Cleveland and said that he had a conversation with general manager Nick Aldis and held a folder in his hand on the way to the ring, setting us up for a match against Logan Paul at SummerSlam for the United States title. Now, there have been some rumblings that Logan might not be with WWE much longer. So if they were to give LA Knight this title and give him that big push, that'd be a really good step in the right direction for the megastar.
Finally, yes.
Yeah, I know. And, there's really, Logan is not doing much with the title anyway, because I think he's had other obligations and other things going on with him. So for that title to come back into the house of WWE and put it on a star that actually could do something with it, I think that would be fantastic, man.
I agree, but I gotta say though, whenever Logan Paul is out there with the title, it does feel important. I'll say that.
Yeah,
he has the importance of the title has not diminished because he's not there like every single episode. When he's there and he's at these events and he's defending it, or whatever match he's in, even the one where it was the qualifying one the week before for Money in the Bank where LA won. And he had LA actually pinned the United States champion, excuse me. Yeah, he pinned the belt. But there's nothing in this cup, I swear to God.
Mimosa.
It's a mimosa morning, or no, not morning. But yeah, it's I appreciate everything he's doing. But yeah, he's got his podcast. He's always traveling. I'm sure he's keeping up on whatever his brother's doing. Unfortunately, that Tyson fight fell through for whatever reason. I don't remember hearing.
I don't think it fell through. I thought it got pushed back to November now.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, the last we heard.
Yeah, with the
Tyson
fight.
Yeah,
the Tyson. Mike Tyson had surgery or something like that.
Oh, is that it? Oh, okay. I thought maybe.
Yeah, I think he fell or something happened.
I thought maybe Logan Paul's brothers, broke a nail or something.
Finally came to his senses and said, "Man, there's no way I'm going to win this fight against Mike Tyson."
It's like, oh, you mean Mike Tyson, not Tyson Chicken? Oh,
right. Oh,
yeah, you're not just beating. They thought he's just going to beat up a bag of chicken. It's no.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Mike Tyson? I thought you said Mike Seitzton. There's a difference there.
Regardless, though, it's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah. It's exciting.
His brother's a boxer. He's athletic, just like Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Dude in the ring's fucking good for someone that just got into it. I will say though, I just feel like the LA Knight thing. I love LA Knight. He's great, fantastic, but I feel like something's kind of just I don't want to say running dry with him. I don't know. I just feel like he should have probably had a belt a long time ago. I feel like this chase for just the United States title has been a little too long.
Yeah, he should have. It's been long coming that LA Knight should have a title because the dude is over on anywhere that he goes. Right. Anytime he comes out, man, the fans just absolutely love him.
Place explodes.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like he doesn't really need a belt. He's one of those characters that can just kind of go out there and have a good promo against a good heel or whatever.
Does he not need a belt, or does he deserve a belt? I think he deserves the belt.
Yes,
he deserves the belt. Yeah, but I don't think I think in this stage the belt is not as important as people make it out to be. It's always a person that I feel like Sami Zayn's great with who he is. It's not really like he's making an IC title.
Well, when you put it like that, when Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock were champions, the belt helped them because it just pushed their importance, and it made them the face of the company and to carry the company where they should go. And I think that if you watch LA Knight on any of the late night shows that he's been on, he just carries himself very well, and he is a very good ambassador for WWE, which is why that's the most important thing about having a belt is, are you going to be a good ambassador for the company? Well, yeah, I think LA Knight is a good spokesperson, and I think he deserves the belt. And if they put that on him, it's going to keep fans coming into the door because they're going to want to see the boy. They're going to want to see the LA Knight with the belt, So I think it's an exciting time for LA Knight to finally get himself a belt. Let's also talk about this big thing happening with the Bloodline. Let's rewind back to that. As we all know, Roman Reigns has been noticeably absent from WWE television since the loss to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. However, it appears that his return might be taking place sooner than expected. And with Solo Sikoa coming out and claiming himself as the head of the table, kicking Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso out of the Bloodline, according to sources, Roman Reigns is anticipated to make his return by SummerSlam. And it was mentioned that there were plans for him to come back 2 to 3 weeks before SummerSlam, which aligns with the current timeline. So I think it's only time now. What are they going to do with Roman on at the return? Is Jimmy and Jay possibly going to come back into the fold and be part of the new Bloodline? And I talked about this in our private chat too. I said this really reminds me of the split between the NWO when you had red and black versus black and white. And not saying that it's going to be an NWO type of thing. My God, I hope they don't just bury it and do stupid shit.
You don't have the power players like the Kevin Nash and stuff here.
Yeah, but I do like the fact that it's a split. It's split now, because it just feeds the fire. It's fuel for the fire. So I'm digging this.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's nobody that can argue that the Bloodline's not the best storyline in wrestling. It has been for the last year or so. It's unquestionable. My thing is, though, I really, really, really cannot stand when these dirt sheets come out with this type of stuff. I mean, it could be true. He may be 100% true. I'm not going to fight that one. But I feel like for me and any casual viewer, hardcore viewer, would love to just not hear anything about him returning and just have him fucking return. You know what I'm saying? Like at SummerSlam. Don't do 2 or 3 weeks before. That's going to take out the value of watching SummerSlam. I want that. And I think everybody wants that shock factor when his music hits at SummerSlam. I think that would be
the surprise.
And I can't stand when people put that in people's heads. So now WWE fans and other people are going to expect this to happen, even if it wasn't going to happen. And they're going to be disappointed because we don't know. We have found out that these credible sources are wrong a lot of times. And it's coming out more and more so often because WWE is not just going down the normal path. But I want Roman to return. I just want to make sure it's right. I don't feel like 2 or 3 weeks before SummerSlam would be fun. I think him coming back at SummerSlam with Jimmy or Paul or whoever he's coming back with would be bigger than him coming back in 2 weeks, But I look forward to it. It's going to be fucking great. The Bloodline storyline has been great. Absolutely love it.
I think if anything should happen before we go, maybe on the go home show of SummerSlam, Paul Heyman should run out there and just cut a promo and say expect to change or something like that.
Or they beat him down the night before.
And
then Roman comes back SummerSlam and with Jimmy and whoever he's coming back.
And screws Solo Sikoa out of a title reign, and when that keeps the belt on Cody, and then we get a good feud between Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. J-Bone, your thoughts?
And we got to remember, like the real talk here as far as what's going on with Roman Reigns. He just lost his dad, so I do imagine with or without that happening, I'm sure they had something set in stone, but now with, him losing his dad, I'm sure some of that was probably pushed back a little bit. But that's something you can't rush stuff like that. You got to drop these breadcrumbs here and there. If I'm the WWE and I'm booking the return of Roman Reigns, I bring out I see Polly Walnuts in the chat. I almost said Polly Walnuts. I bring back Paul Heyman, and then the crowd pops and goes, "Well, what are you doing here?" And he goes, "I have returned, and I'm bringing you the real head of the table," whatever, and then out comes Roman, and have that happen at, SummerSlam or something,
There could be tons of things they can do. They can do that. They can bring out, they could have a run in during the Cody and Solo Sikoa match, and somebody just beats the crap out of Solo, and it would be the new enforcer for Roman Reigns. I mean, there's so much that they can do.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch, but just like J-Bo said, don't rush it. It doesn't need to be rushed, and really, you don't really need to bring Roman back. Let him deal with the personal stuff he's got going on, and we can continue, because once Roman comes, the whole destruction of the bloodline with Solo is kind of dwindled down a little bit. So, maybe extend that story out a little bit longer and let him, I told you guys this in the chat, maybe let Solo win at SummerSlam, have a brief run as a champion.
Yeah.
Rematch with Cody, and that's when you bring Roman kind of back. I would think that would be pretty cool and something different, because we had a champion for 3 years, let's move the belt around. But
I love a good shakeup. Yeah. It's like, we're doing this.
Yeah, I like it too. Well, I mean, it can go anyway. Honestly, it could happen at any point, and we're here for it. We're excited for it, and hope you guys are too. Let's move on to some Natalya news. She's been a cornerstone of WWE's women division since her debut in 2008, consistently maintaining a pretty prominent presence throughout her tenure with the company. However, her WWE contract set to expire soon. Fans wondered what she would do in the end, or where she would go outside of WWE. But in that regard, we now have an update that it's been confirmed. She's locked a new deal with WWE. We don't know what that deal looks like, but we do know that she is staying with the company. And for one, I'm excited because I've always liked Natalya. I thought she was a really, really good in-ring performer. Of course, from the Hearts, they taught her everything that they knew, and I'm excited for Natalya to ink a new deal with the company. So I really hope that they just continue to push her in the women's division, and not, she's not just a jobber or anything like that.
Well, I think she knows her role, and I think the fans know her role too. Like, she's the women, like, kind of, I wouldn't say ambassador, but she's the one that's, helping train a lot of these younger women. So I think that's kind of what her role is, and she'll always be a WWE person. And that's good for her. I'm glad she resigned. I love watching her. We don't see enough, like, storylines out of her very often, but I appreciate when she is in the ring, because she is good in the ring and she makes other people look good, and that's who you have to have,
Right. Yep.
Oh yeah.
So
I was just gonna say, and just because she re-signed with the WWE doesn't mean they're not going to give her the opportunity to do other things. Like, there's been quite the demand. It's been a rumbling, amongst the fans for her to do stuff outside of the company. Like, fans really want that match between TNA's Jordynne Grace and WWE's Natalya. And I have no surprise. I've no qualms. I'm sure that's going to happen. And I think even with the WWE re-signing her, I think that honestly gives her more of a, how do I say this? I wouldn't be shocked if she said something like, look, I want to resign with you guys. You know, I've always been with the WWE, but I want a little freedom to do a couple other things. Like you see, like Shayna Baszler going to do the, the real fights, outside of the WWE and stuff. I'm sure Natalya wouldn't mind branching out and doing something like that with TNA for a spell. I think that'd be tremendous. So, but hey, congrats to her.
Yeah, now would be the time for that. I mean, we're seeing the crossover and it's playing out well. I think that would be a match that has to happen on TNA. You know what I'm saying? Like they do it on a TNA pay-per-view. I think that's it.
Have her show up at Slammiversary and turn a lot of heads. I think that would be amazing. And Slammiversary, honestly, would be the biggest stage to do it. They're like a few tickets away, literally a few tickets away from selling almost 4,000 seats.
Wow.
And that's the biggest house within the last, I'd say, decade. I was at the one in Chicago at oh God, I can't think of what was it called, the Odeon in Chicago. It's a smaller arena, and they packed about 3,000 people in there. And
in Slammiversary, that's in Canada.
It's in Canada, yeah. And they're selling a ton of tickets, so I'm really excited for the hype behind this.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, being Canada and Natalya, I mean, I think there's a good possibility there.
It's a really, I mean, honestly, it's a really exciting time to be a fan, because we're having all these re-signings and all these new people coming into the company now that WWE is working exclusively with TNA to bring over their couple of their people. Joe Hendry was on the main event at NXT. We'll talk about that too coming up. But another big name that has made a really big splash into WWE is Stephanie Vakir. She's become a major topic of discussion this week after it was confirmed that she would be joining the company. All of this happened pretty abruptly now that she's a superstar. And interestingly enough, she'll get to keep her name in WWE too. CMLL recently announced that she officially parted ways with the promotion and as well as New Japan Pro Wrestling. Vakir chose to relinquish both the CMLL Women's Tag Team Championship and the Women's Championship, citing personal reasons that also prevented her from participating in Fantastica Mania. This all led to much speculation about her next move, with many fans eagerly anticipating her joining WWE. Now, in the end, that's exactly what happened. She officially signed a deal with WWE over the past week. Even Shawn Michaels reacted positively to her signing, and it's been reported that her debut could even take place this week's live events in Mexico with WWE. So this is a big jump for her.
And I think a lot of fans just assumed, with all the hype that she's gotten recently on AEW events with Mercedes Moné at I'm sorry, what was there's so many events.
Forbidden
what was the last
Door. Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Forbidden Door. Thank you. They had a pretty good match there, and she was really getting some decent TV time at some of the house shows too. Or TV taping, whatever you want to call them, the weekly shows. And this really is a shock. And I'm sure I can imagine that Tony is I'm sure he was looking forward to signing her, and WWE came in and just swooped her in out of nowhere. Just
good. They're going after some of these stars, and I do know that Twitter when this was announced was not. There was a lot of Twitter people that were not happy, and CMLL is not happy. So we know Tony Khan's probably not happy.
Yeah.
I would be very. I hope she's able to finish those dates, because if she's not, then it is kind of sour taste, and I do see the why people would be angry. But not every person that goes to AEW has to sign with AEW. Not every person that goes to WWE has to sign with WWE. That's the beauty of wrestling. But most people are going to sign.
It is the beauty of wrestling. It is, but also it's not. You also have to think about what bridges am I going to burn? Am I not going to live up to these dates that these people are expecting me, or these companies are expecting me to be there at? It also comes down to when you're just, maybe she was ready for a change. Maybe she was just mentally exhausted, and career exhausted too, to think about, okay, what's my next move and how fast can we make this happen? Because I'm just ready to get out of whatever promises that I'm in, or whatever opportunity that I'm in now. What's a new one that could be coming? So, I hope she made the right decision. I hope that the WWE will treat her well.
Okay. I think I did hear part of this story. I don't know all the details and names and such, but Mayor, thank you for bringing this to light, because I've heard of this, that there was some issue here. Stephanie, so he says Stephanie had every right to get away due to her ex and his troubled history. Yeah, there was something.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, there was some allegations with abuse, and I don't mean to put, like, I'm not trying to poo-poo that, like, allegations, like maybe it happened. No. If I'm sure if all this happened pretty suddenly, that's a sign that there was something going on here.
Could be, yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, if something happened to her and she wanted a quick, safe out, I absolutely don't blame her for going running to WWE, and how even if Tony Khan was doing a safe shows with CMLL as a partner, who knows what could happen down the line if she would happen to run into him or something like that. She wouldn't have to worry about that with WWE.
Thank you, Bell's Boy. If you want to put this comment up too, Stephanie apparently had to file a restraining order against her ex a year ago, and he was eventually arrested a few weeks later. So we'll have to deep dive into that just to see, provide any validity if we can to these allegations. But that could be a big reason as to why she was so quick to jump ship to WWE, because no matter where her ex is, either in CMLL or New Japan, AEW has really close ties with all those companies, and a lot of these other companies too. Stardom, so if her ex is in any one of those companies or affiliated with any one of those companies, then that would make sense as to why she jumped ship so quick, because how could she get away from it? So we'll have to keep an eye on that as that situation and that story develops. But let's move on over to some AEW news, and let's start it off with Baron's $9.99 moment. And this one is right up your alley, buddy. Right up your alley. Tony Khan enjoys leading AEW, and he holds optimism for what 2024 will bring. We're already past the halfway point into the year, but Tony believes fans can expect greatness in the next 5 months. So AEW has several projects in the work, including All In at Wembley on August 25th. And while you can't predict everything Tony Khan and his team are planning, he is clearly excited about the possibilities. The AEW head honcho recently shared an animated GIF or GIF or whatever you want to call it of George Costanza's father from Seinfeld declaring, "Feel vigorous." Alongside it, he boldly stated, I'm so excited for the rest of 2024 at AEW. I think that this will be the best year in AEW yet. The tweet was posted at about 2:27 a.m. And it also adds to the long list of late night tweets that we normally see from Tony. So, Baron, what does WWE have to do?
Late night tweets.
Yeah, right. Did you say it was at 2:27 a.m. when you posted that? George Costanza gif?
2:27 a.m. That's when he posted that tweet. Yeah. So, Baron, yeah, I'm sure he had a little white mustache somewhere.
Yeah.
So what does
little drink?
Yeah, a little smoky smoke, sniffy sniff, something like that. But Baron, what does AEW have to do to be the best in 2024 going forward?
To realize that it's 2024. I hear that and I want that. I hope that they I hope they succeed and they prove everyone wrong. But right now, that's like, we see the numbers, and not that the numbers matter, but it does in their case because they're looking for a TV deal here. I mean, this is, pretty crucial for them. And I hope to God they get it together, and figure what they want to do out. I've said on this show multiple times, and I'll stand by it. It's not all about the wrestling. I love wrestling more than the next person. I appreciate the art of wrestling, but there has to be some stories. Right. MJF is great. Love him, but he can't be the only one.
Yeah. I have to agree with you that MJF, he can, even though he's so damn good at what he does, going out there and cutting these epic promos that we've seen so far, especially with him turning heel, he can't be the saving grace of AEW. Everybody has to play their own part, and that does include decent storylines on television, not just on pay-per-views, not what we see on pay-per-views. We have to see it on television, because if you watch both products, let's put it into perspective here, Baron. We watch AEW Dynamite, which is a 2-hour program, and we see how they're booking that show. And then we flip it over on Friday nights to SmackDown, which is another 2-hour program, and we see how WWE is booking that show. And it's such a night and day difference between the two promotions. And and I'm not saying that they need to copy everything that the WWE is doing in order to put on a decent 2-hour program. But what I am saying is you have to have the guidelines that the WWE is doing, and maybe follow those and tweak them with the help of your staff that you're paying these guys, these veterans, to utilize them, and say, okay, how can we take the product that we have now and make it better going forward?
Yeah, I mean, clearly don't copy what WWE is doing, and I don't like when WWE copies what AEW is doing. I don't be original. Let's figure things out. But obviously, the audience becomes larger once there's a story. People like drama. People like all kinds of stuff. Like storyline wise. And I feel like when I'm watching AEW, it's just I don't get long-term booking there. I don't care. There's some there, but it's not great by any means. But I feel like these pay-per-views happen. There's a match. I'm Forbidden Door. I understand the purpose of it, and it's great that they're kind of doing a cross promotion. But there was nothing to build for. There was nothing prior to that show. I've never heard of Stephanie prior to AEW.
Right.
Not once. And I don't remember if she was on any of their weekly shows building up to that with her match. I don't think there was. So stuff like that, that'll bring more people in to view it and appreciate the product a little more, because we all know AEW does a fantastic job in the ring. They always do, for the most part, I should say. So, add some stories in there, and we're going to I can see them succeeding, and
another thing is that, we just talked about AEW has all these these ties with, CMLL, they have ties with New Japan, they have ties with Stardom and all these other companies, and they bring in these wrestlers from these other companies, and they cut these promos and they include a storyline that they have from let's say CMLL. They include a storyline that they have from CMLL and they bring it over to AEW, and it's like, what the hell is this? Because we don't know where to watch CMLL. We don't know where to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling because there's not a lot of TV shows that I know of, that current TV shows that include New Japan Pro Wrestling. So these storylines just kind of, they're like, what is this? Where did this come from? And the commentators too, they have to paint these stories. They have to paint them. If they're not going to look, if we're not going to get any video packages, any storylines of what happened in New Japan Pro Wrestling to bring this wrestler over here to challenge this other person, if the commentators are not doing their job and telling us the story versus, what the wrestlers have to say, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Like I said, they got to paint a good picture.
Yeah.
And right now they're currently building up to All In. That's the next big thing. So you're finding out, who's going to face the champ, who Tony Storm was going to beat. The big thing was the Owen Hart tournament that just wrapped up. So that was actually a big portion of it. I think the Tony Storm stuff with Mariah May actually turned out great.
Oh yeah. No, I should have mentioned that. When I said MJF, the Tony Storm stuff has been fantastic. Like all the way through since this whole thing started with Tony Storm. I love it. Yeah, I think that's great, and that is the booking that I'm talking about. There's that long-term booking that there was crumbles back in the past, and now she's got the match. So that's exactly what we're talking about. But they got to do it more often.
And I want to add this in too. I know New Japan is on Access TV on Wednesdays, but the problem is half of the time they're only showing repeats, and they're showing stuff that happened like weeks behind. Like they are so behind Access TV.
It used to be, and I was critical of this too. It used to be that stuff that they would show was like really old. Now the stuff that they show is only about a week old. It's like from a big event that happened just prior. So it is pretty current as far as what's happening. They'll break up a big event over the course of a few weeks.
Right.
Few matches here, a few matches here, a few matches here, and then they'll go on to the next big event. So I'll give New Japan that. They have gotten a lot better than it was, because it used to be you'd watch it and it was like 5-6 months old stuff, and it's like, why are we showing this?
But then it comes down to the point of, okay, New Japan's on Access TV, TNA's on Access TV. Not everybody gets that channel. Not everybody's going to have to pay an extra fee for a different package that will include Access TV. So would it be smart to move maybe New Japan's and maybe TNA over to Vice and say, hey, Vice, let's carry some live programming, or let's carry some pre-recorded content that still fits the wrestling thing? Because look, Vice is getting into wrestling. I don't care who you talk to, with everything that they've done with Dark Side of the Ring and Who Killed WCW and all the other shows that they've had about pro wrestling. They're getting into pro wrestling. So would it be good for them? And a lot of people get Vice in their household. So would it be smart and beneficial for them to move it off of Access TV, move it into Vice?
It's funny you mentioned that, because there's a recent interview, and I just covered this on Thursday with Bill and Alicia. It's one of the, I can't remember his exact title. It's one of the executives at Anthem, and he's working with TNA currently right now to get them better distribution. Now, I don't know if that means put on a different channel or to what extent it actually means, but he is working on getting more eyes on TNA. And trust me, that is something that fans have said for eons, ever since they left channels like Spike TV was great for TNA for years.
Oh yeah.
And then it slowly went downhill from there. They did like a Pop TV. They did, oh God, I can't even remember all the the goofy stations they had them on. So Access TV has actually been really good for TNA to an extent. They do need a better channel, but now with the hype of TNA, the return of the brand, these partnerships with the WWE, more people watching viral clips in different places, and I think more people are signing up for TNA Plus, honestly. I hear more and more people in our chats on Thursday saying, "Hey, yeah, I'm enjoying TNA on TNA Plus." So yeah, we'll see what the future brings, but I think it's going to be bright for TNA.
I hope so. I think so. I think TNA is definitely doing big things with that regard. So let's keep these TV talks in the current loop, and let's involve AEW into these. As we all know, AEW's media rights renewal is up this year, and its current deal with Warner Brothers Discovery is set to expire. Tony Khan has praised Warner Brothers Discovery and mentioned that they are close to finalizing a new deal. The company loaded up this week's episode of Dynamite, and next week is set to include Will Ospreay and MJF for the international title. Now, Tony Khan has a reason to book loaded shows now, as he wants to secure the best deal possible. Sources noted that a new contract has not been signed yet with AEW. This gave the company even more reason to stack shows as they want to get that new deal signed. Television media rights are a major topic now in pro wrestling, like what we've been talking about following WWE's recent deals, where Raw is moving to Netflix, NXT to the CW, and SmackDown back to the USA Network. The Blue brand is even moving to USA Network sooner than expected. Now, however, AEW has yet to announce their next deal, and fans remain kind of uncertain about their future, but Tony Khan remains pretty confident that he can set up a new deal. And I don't know if you watched Dynamite this past week on Wednesday, but there were a lot of shits and a lot of colorful language that I thought that Warner Brothers was telling them, hey, we need to move away from this, because if you want to secure a TV deal, this is not the way to go. If they really are curious as to where they're going to wind up, and if they really want to stay with Warner Brothers Discovery, they really have to follow what Warner Brothers is saying and what they're wanting the company to do as far as cleaning up the language just a little bit, because we've seen.
Yeah, but I get it, man. I get the whole language thing. I get it. But it's like,
but
you can look up anything on the internet these days, and you know what I'm saying? Like, the world has changed. I think everybody knows these cuss words, and it's not like it's a big deal. And that's I know, but it's not like the 90s. I wish that wasn't like something that they were picking on AEW about. It's like, yeah, clean up your language,
but
give them a goddamn TV deal. Let's go, Warner Brothers. What the hell? Fuck. So we, give them the damn TV deal.
I think they're going to get a TV deal.
I think they are.
100%. They're going to. I just hope
it's going to be better than the last one.
I think it will. I definitely think that something is in the works, and I think it will be with Warner Brothers. But it's just like, if your boss tells you, hey, you got to do your job better, guess what? You got to do your job better. or you're going to get fired. And that's the same way with Tony Khan with Warner Brothers Discovery. You know, Warner Brothers says, hey, we need to clean up the language. You need to, you know, be better on the censor button. And if Tony Khan's not being better on the censor button, not cleaning it up, you know, what's to say that Warner Brothers just pulls the deal? Because that could happen. That could happen. Warner Brothers could say, you know what, we're fed up. We've told you time and time again, we're going to do away with this deal. And Bell's Boy has a very good comment there. Cable is dead. Cable, a lot of people are cutting the cord, and he says AEW will stay with Warner Brothers Discovery, and the pay-per-views will go to Max for streaming. Now, I don't know if that's true, because pay-per-views are a little bit of a different beast, I think, for that regard. But I definitely think that AEW could stay with Warner Brothers Discovery.
Well, and if not, you know what? The Khans got probably more money than that network. So create your own damn network, you know?
Yeah.
they're worth just as much, if not more, probably double, honestly.
You know what? That's what Anthem did when they took over TNA, and they bought Access TV to put TNA on. They're like, okay, so they bought the because TNA was kind of floundering in the weeds, and they needed to get on Substation.
Yeah, I remember.
Like I said, is Access TV the best? No, but at least, you know, they had the freedom. Like, oh, okay, we got our own station now. We just throw it on there. We're good. You know, it's
yeah, that's something they could always do, and it may be better for them. You know. You know, and I think like I think cable network is going to come back soon. I don't think people quite understand the prices of all these apps, because let me tell you, I own them all. I have all these damn apps, and I'm paying double than what I was during my cable, you know, like dish days. So
yeah,
I've also thought about going back and just keeping that, because there's so many things that I don't even watch on these. So I feel like there'll be a resurgence soon for the cable network. So they almost have to.
And there's also, if you go through different phone companies, they'll offer a package deal. Like Verizon has, they'll give you like 3 different things for like, it's like included in their price or something. It's
when we got our phones, upgrade on the phones, they literally added, and this has been a while, DirecTV as our or not Direct, Dish. Anyways, it was one of the two with our deal. So we only paid like $20 extra a month for all this stuff when we got our phones.
Yeah. And you know, phone companies are doing that more often. With my plan, I signed up for both Max and Netflix, you know, for $10 a month. And so phone companies are doing this, and they're rolling it out. I know T-Mobile has a deal, I think, with YouTube TV. There's some deals going on with Hulu, you know, and things like that. So, you know, anything can happen. Anything can happen. It's just a weird time to be looking for TV rights and TV deals and things like that. But I definitely think that we're going in the right direction, specifically with the death of cable networks and things like that. Let's continue on with some more AEW news. Tony Khan claims that he's never actually spoken to Shane McMahon, even though Shane's name is a massive name in the pro wrestling community. Rumors suggest that he may join AEW, which would be a major acquisition for Tony Khan. As we previously discussed on this show, the rumor mill was buzzing over this. Shane McMahon made his name in WWE, serving as an authority figure on TV for years, though he no longer holds an official role in the company. He remains a significant topic of discussion within the pro wrestling community. Rumors suggest that he may join AEW, which would be a good acquisition again for Tony. But during a recent radio show, Tony Khan was asked about the possibility of Shane joining AEW. And Tony mentioned that he's really never met Shane McMahon, or even said that he's talked to him, but he did acknowledge that Shane's extensive experience and connections with the wrestling industry. You know, we talked about Mercedes Moné and Shane were spotted at an airport. So, you know, just discussing. Now, do we think that Shane is possibly going to join AEW? No, I don't think so. What do you guys think?
I doubt it.
No. Goddamn, this is probably Dave Meltzer that said some stupid shit one day and then just blew up. I mean, could it happen? I've seen crazier things happen in wrestling over my time watching it. So it's always a possibility. I just I think we're kind of done with the McMahons and wrestling. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that era is kind of done with it, you know, like with the Vince, and I think Shane will fall in that category as well. We're moving on from there. So if he did, I'm sure it will help out for a episode. I don't think long term it will do any benefit.
Yeah. I think that the name McMahon has you know, and I know Stephanie was on WWE TV for a short time, you know, recently, but I think McMahon, the McMahon name is kind of done. What do you think, J-Bone?
There's too much negativity behind it. It's you know, even if it's only Shane that comes into the mix, there's still too much the feds, the freaking feds are involved with Vince McMahon now, and the whole case with the young lady that that has the case against Vince. I'm sorry her name is escaping me right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that case is actually put on hold so the feds could get at Vince McMahon. And it's like, oh, that's not a good thing. No, whether you're just Vince McMahon on an island and you're surrounded by all this trouble, or you're his son sitting way the hell over here someplace, you still got that last name of McMahon. It's like, no, no one is going to want any ties to that. No.
Right.
Well, and even I don't even know how this came out. I think it was just like a fan that asked a question on one show a while back on Jim Ross, and Jim Ross kind of just touched base with it or something. I don't even know how this blew out. Because,
it was that guy that does all the podcasts with all the guys. That
Conrad Thompson.
Yeah, because he knows everyone and he knows everything. Didn't you know that?
Apparently. Apparently he does. I just think when you're going through some heavy allegations or what's happening, I think the very last name, at least I would never be in this position. However, if, just thinking out loud here, if I was, I think the last thing I'm probably worrying about is getting back into a wrestling company.
Yeah, I think it's time.
I was just going to say, if your name has a better chance of showing up on a Dark Side of a Ring episode and or season than in a wrestling company itself.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Is no bueno, is no good.
Yeah.
Especially AEW.
Yeah, let's press on though, because we have a lot more AEW news, and we're going to dive into some TNA stuff with J-Bone here soon. Bryan Danielson is widely recognized as one of the top professional wrestlers globally and has competed at the highest levels for many years. However, he has recently faced some criticism for allegedly diminishing his value in AEW. For several months now, Danielson has been vocal about his intention to retire from full-time wrestling in 2024 to focus on his family. Although really no specific date or event has been confirmed for his final match, fans are surprised that he hasn't captured any titles since joining AEW in 2021. Speaking on the podcast, Keep It 100 official, WCW veteran Disco Inferno commented on Danielson's career, and he acknowledged Bryan's strong fan base, but stated that Danielson's own decisions have somewhat diminished his value and that he's lost his star power. Here's what Disco Inferno, I'm sorry, said. Almost called him Disco Stew. He said, quote, I think it's a fair statement to say he completely lost his star power. Just to say if he left AEW today to return to WWE tomorrow, would they even care? He's broken and hasn't sold tickets or drawn ratings in years. I still think he has value because he has fans. I don't think anybody is turned on him, but I do think value is obviously diminished. His value is obviously diminished by his own volition, end quote. I want to turn it over to you guys. What do you agree with Disco Inferno? J-Bone, let's start with you, man.
I agree to a point. If you look at what Daniel Bryan has done recently, and even commentary has said this, you know, he's had some wins, he's had some losses. His biggest win is on this past episode of Dynamite. He won, and I feel bad. I'm so out of touch with AEW. I didn't realize the finals of the Owen Hart Cup were this past Wednesday.
Yeah, and he walked away with the belt and the cup. So
he did, and I'm so happy for him. But he is so, like you say, he is so broken. I mean, you could have given him the cup, you could have given him the belt,
but
they probably should have like stretchered him out. I mean, he just looks horrible. He really does.
Here's the thing. After that match, I don't know if you guys saw this or if you watched it, but after his match, after he won the belt and the cup for the Owen Hart for the Owen Hart Cup, Dr. Hart came out with Jeff Jarrett as he was the special enforcer of the match, and they awarded him the belt and the cup. Just out of nowhere, Swerve Strickland shows up, come out to the ring. We go to commercial break, and the only people that is left in the ring is Prince Nana and Swerve. Why the fuck is Swerve Strickland out there? And the thing is, he was cutting a promo to Bryan Danielson when Bryan could have stayed in the freaking ring. And
Bryan, because he won the Owen Hart Cup, has the right now to face Swerve at All In. That's his opponent. So
why didn't Bryan stay out there? Why to cut the promo? Why didn't Bryan stay out there? Why did Swerve have to come out there? Bryan leave and Swerve address Bryan Danielson as he's standing in the backstage. Why couldn't they have cut a promo together?
It would have been good, but I think Bryan was in obviously no shape to cut anything. I mean, like, he looked like dog shit warmed over, and that's a compliment. He was beat to hell after this match.
He was,
and it was Swerve to come out as a strong champion, a little heelish. I'll say that he's been riding. He's like kind of like riding that fine line between baby face and heel lately, depending on who he's facing. And honestly, I think he actually is going to be going into this big thing in the UK as a heel, more or less. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. And I think he will have the face-off against Bryan, but it couldn't happen today. So I'm sure it's coming down the road real soon.
Well, and I'm just saying that we've seen, stars like MJF and Will Ospreay and even Swerve himself have a hell of a match, beat the shit, and still were able to cut a promo. So I just don't understand why they couldn't have kept him out there and have him cut a promo with Swerve. Baron, your thoughts, man?
I mean, I get your point 100%. Do I agree with what Disco Inferno said? Absolutely. 100%. Because I and this is going to sound bad. I appreciate everything Daniel Bryan does. He's phenomenal in the ring, but it doesn't matter if this person has went to TNA. They're always going to be less of a draw, or like he said, what do they call him? Has lost his stain. Once you leave WWE, I mean, WWE is seen by millions upon millions of people, not just on live TV, on YouTube. Absolutely, he's lost his star power. And I think he should have retired and stayed retired when he screwed his neck up. And now he's got the higher chance of re-injuring himself into a point where he can't ever walk again with the unsafe shit that happens in AEW. Man, look at Edge. He flew off that damn top of the cell, didn't even hit the table, and fucked his knee up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like Daniel Bryan's in that same boat. They're all going out there and I appreciate it, putting out 100%. But their body and their shape you can't continually do that. It's gonna wear down.
They're killing themselves.
Yeah,
they're killing themselves for 600,000 people. That's not okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you got to be safer with your talent, especially when Daniel Bryan's out there and Edge. And those are your big ticket people. And if they're injured every single month and miss week to week and pay-per-views, nobody's watching your product. You got to keep them safe.
I also saw that Darby Allin was, I think, at a concert recently, and he did like a stage dive.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
well, that's one way to put it. It was actually Brody King.
Brody King threw him. Yeah,
he literally threw Darby Allin into the audience. I just saw that clip before we went live. I actually thought that was pretty funny, because all you see in the distance is you see this guy in it's Darby Allin. He wears this pink big fluffy coat lately. I don't know why, but whatever. He's still great. I love him. Yeah. But all you see is this pink blur go flying across the screen. It's like, oh God. Wait, that was Darby? Oh shit.
But that solidifies the fact that these guys are not working safe at all, man. They're not working safe. I mean, fuck, we saw what Darby Allin did. He went through freaking glass from like 50 feet in the air.
Oh,
God. It's just when are we going to wake up and realize that AEW is not working smart? They're not working safe. No matter what Tony Khan says, they're not working safe. And we have to, this has to come to a head, or else you're not going to have many stars left on your roster that are going to be healthy to perform and bring in the money.
I think that's why the Hardys left, and that's a big blow to their tag team division.
Definitely. Do I agree with Disco Inferno? In a way, I do. I think that Bryan Danielson, along with guys like Edge and all these former WWE superstars that are coming to AEW for, let's face it, a paycheck, an easy paycheck that may not be so easy as they thought, because they're putting on these stupid matches that are just killing their bodies, and B, they're really not getting the star power. They're really not. And that's all that goes back to the booking. That
right. That point right there is, if, and I'm going to throw a comparison in there, and TNA fans are going to agree 1,000% with me in this point. For years and years and years, TNA fans have been somewhat frustrated here and there throughout the years, is because TNA has had the ability to build stars, and then at some point you've done all you can in a company like TNA, because they're only so big. There's only so many people you can put over, or people put you over, or whatever. And then you move on to hopefully greener pastures. And then, whether it's an AEW audience or WWE audience, you hope that it gains from there and it gets better from there for these people. AEW is a perfect example of you've got these homegrown talents, and yeah, some of them are great, some of them are fun, but with the amount of time that they've been on TV for X amount of years, that they've had this TV deal, 5-6 years now, whatever it's been, they should be mega stars, and they're not. And that is like the perfect point to make here is like, guys like Jack Perry. Now, granted, they're going through an evolution right now. He's a big time heel, and he's changing, he's evolving. But guys like him, guys like MJF, guys like Daniel Garcia, all these guys, they are super mega talented. They should be drawing more people. But it's because of what's happening in the company, big picture wise, why it's not. And that's why we always talk about this. It's not to belittle the company. It's like, no, we want more from this company. We want to see them succeed.
Oh, yeah.
I want to make this very, 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 very clear for anybody who may be new here that we are not against AEW.
We're not bashing them.
We're not bashing anybody.
We're not some balls here.
If WWE were having the problems that AEW are having, you better believe we're going to be bitching about it. We're going to be complaining about it. Why? Because we're wrestling fans. Now, we don't want AEW to go out of business. We don't want AEW to go under. We want them to succeed. We want CMLL to succeed. We want New Japan to succeed. We want all promotions to succeed. But when you are consistently doing bad booking and putting your superstars at risk of possibly their career day in or week in and week out, then that doesn't leave much that doesn't leave you anything. You have all these B superstars or these B Carters, mid Carters, whatever you want to call them. They're waiting in the back to get their big break. But they're also watching these mega superstars break their backs literally for a company that is just continuously falling through the cracks. They're slipping through the cracks. And who wants to stick around for that? Nobody wants to stick around to watch. Nobody wants to be in the house that's burning down.
One thing that I knew right then is like when Edge came over, Adam Copeland, he had the feud, and I'm forgetting the names. I'm not even going to think about the names, but I feel like he went right away with Christian, and nothing ever came out of that. Nobody was made out of that. Right. You know what I'm saying? There was no stars made out of that, and that's not the point. Edge is 50-something years old. He's not there to be a superstar. He's there to put over some young talent. But they were so worried, Tony's so worried about these ratings and so worried about the money that, he didn't do anything with Edge. And that always bothered me because Edge, in my mind, is bigger than every single person on that roster. By far, from just what he did in WWE. Everybody casually that watched WWE in the past would have known who that was, and that should have been a pretty good draw for that company. That there kind of just irritated me, and I haven't looked back.
And if Tony Khan is proclaiming that 2024 will be AEW's best year so far, brother, you have a lot of freaking work to do because so far the product has been very, very lackluster. You have, and I mean, go back to any one of our shows, anything that we've discussed with AEW. We don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but the problems are there. Yeah, the problems are there. They have to figure them out. And one of the biggest ways that they can figure them out is by getting Tony Khan off of the reins from leading this company to wherever he's fucking going and giving it over to the old heads that we'll call old heads, to everybody that's on his staff who actually have some sort of previous experience in running professional wrestling television. Give them the reins. Give them the control. Let them book. And we've seen with the Elite, with the way that they've booked their matches and their promos and things like that. That may be the problem. That may be the problem that Tony says, well, you know what? You can come in and you can book yourself any way that you see fit. But that's not going to fall in line with what the bookers have already put together for television, because it can change. It's like we're watching multiple Hulk Hogans with creative control in AEW. You know, you have a Hulkster here, you have a Hulkster there, and these two are not working together with the way the storyline needs to go. You know, it's gonna. I mean, AEW to me, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this, but I don't care. I'm gonna say this: AEW is the new finger poke of doom.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say it right now. Is the new finger poke of doom. The whole fucking company is the new finger poke of doom. And watch, I'm telling you, watch it every week. Catch every freaking show. Every freaking show. You're going to see that this show, from when they first started to now, has been a fucking slow decline. A very slow decline. And I'm not here I want to make this very clear. I'm not here to bash anybody, and it sounds like that I'm bashing them, and I'm giving them a fucking pep talk. You know, stop doing.
You're trying.
I'm trying. Damn it, I'm trying.
You know what? It's deja vu, because about 5-6 years ago, I don't even know, maybe longer, we had the same discussion about WWE.
Yeah,
they went through the same shit. Yeah,
they went through the same exact shit. But however, WWE is still so far, you know, there that they're able to get out of that. But we did on this podcast. We bashed the fuck out of them, and we will if this goes shit.
Yeah, J-Bone, I want you to put that comment up from Bell's Boy, because that's exactly another problem that they have in that fucking company. Mercedes Moné is a prime example of creative control in AEW, and that's why former WWE producer Jennifer Pepperman is now with AEW booking for Mercedes. She is a problem. She is a problem. Did anybody catch that that promo that she cut when Britt Baker came back? Did anybody catch that? That was terrible, and it took Britt Baker to fucking save it. That's sad. That's fucking sad for a veteran. For a veteran to have to be saved by Britt Baker, who is consistently much better on the microphone than Mercedes Moné ever would be, even in the WWE. She's a problem. She's a disease. And I've said it. And it's going to stay that way. She's a fucking disease. She needs to go away. And she has all these, she says, oh, I got all these critics talking about me. Yeah, you're being criticized because you suck, Mercedes. You suck in the ring. You suck as cutting a promo. Yeah, Mercedes couldn't even cut a promo to save her life. She's not fit for any promotion. She needs to be in an indie promotion, honestly. The way that she's been acting and this whole shebang with AEW, man, it's like she's wrestling or trying to show off in a high school gym with an indie company. It's embarrassing. It really is.
Man. She's getting paid.
I understand. I know, and that's the only reason that's the reason she's
there.
I don't see her holding on to both of those titles much longer. I think people are starting to wake up to the fact.
I think Britt Baker will definitely win.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I think it's just not Sasha though. Mercedes. I feel like the Okada situation, like you're the national fucking superstar in New Japan. Like Okada for years was, I mean, he was the guy, number one guy in New Japan, and you know, they just need to book better, and it'll get better. There's just so many other things. I don't think Mercedes is the ultimate problem. I will always stand by this. It's the Young Bucks, and they play a large part in the booking because, you know, they're the Young Bucks. And I've never been a big fan of them. I feel like there's some political stuff going on in the backstage with them. But just like we would do with WWE. If it's bad, we're going to tell you it's bad. And, we don't want any of these places to close down because of just poor choices. We love wrestling more than anybody, so we want nothing but good things to come out of it.
We just want better stories, and like the wrestling is fine. Like if you want good wrestling, by all means, go to AEW. You're going to get some fun matches. You're going to get some dream matches. Like I'm looking forward to Swerve versus Daniel Bryan, but I'm praying to God we get a better version of Brian, or excuse me, I said Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson. Excuse me. I want a better version of Bryan Danielson because this one is just beat to shit. And if he's not, man, he is presenting himself as in he is literally on his last leg.
Yeah,
and if this is just he's going out there to put over Swerve and make him a stronger champion, by all means, that's great. But damn, like Swerve is doing everything he can, and I think Swerve is doing just fine. I don't think Swerve could do anything else to improve his situation. I think Tony is doing right by Swerve and letting him bring in his own crew to do. Like, okay, now we're working with these guys to do this part of the show, and we're doing this. If you watch the behind the scenes stuff, if you watch the media scrums with Swerve, it's there's a whole team that works with Swerve, and it's all coming together and makes him look like $1 million. You can't do any more with him. They're doing what they can with him. It's big picture wise. It's everything else that has to like level up, and then everything else is going to feel so much bigger and better.
We have to. I mean, this product has to get better, and I hope it does. I know none of us.
We're hoping.
Yeah, none of us want to see it die, but let's move on to something that is very, very exciting for TNA. Slammiversary is gearing up for TNA Plus, this new venture with NXT, really exciting as well. So let's turn to the host of Total Nonstop Impact with the latest TNA news. J-Bone, what you got? What's going on at Slammiversary, man?
We got a Slammiversary card update. We'll just quick run down the card here. We got everybody that's on the card for the main event. Who's facing Moose? We got Josh Alexander. We got Frankie Kazarian. We got Nick Nemeth. Now, right now, as of this last episode, because of an attack on Nick Nemeth from Kazarian, Nick Nemeth is not cleared, so we're going to keep a close eye on that. And we got Steve Macklin and Joe Hendry is the last one to qualify for this six-way elimination match for the TNA World Championship. That's going to headline Slammiversary. We also got Jordan Grace versus Ash by Elegance. That's going to be a lot of fun. And Mike Bailey is challenging Mustafa Ali for his X Division Championship. That also is going to burn the house down. It's going to be great. TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships are on the line. We got Masha Slamovich and Alicia Edwards versus Spitfire. In fact, the new name, I actually really like this. Sometimes you hear names come up for teams and it's like, you got anything better? Alicia and Masha together are Militia.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty smooth.
Yeah, that's clever.
I like it. And it fits with Masha because Masha's comes from that Russian dark, the cold, so the Militia absolutely fits with her, and you put Alicia with her. So and then latest one that was made up for this last episode of TNA, we got PCO going after AJ Francis and his digital media. I guess there's an update here. My bad. AJ Francis is also the international heavyweight wrestling champion. I'm not sure where that's from. I'm guessing some indie. I'm not sure, but the Digital Media Championship, or DMC as I like to call it, that is part of TNA. So PCO's going after him for that. So we'll have more stuff coming, but that's coming up sooner than later. That's a week from today, July 20th. So that's coming up real quick.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's coming.
So next week we'll probably be doing a little last minute preview for Slammiversary 2 on here. So
it's exciting for TNA to be, you know, in this new venture, especially with, you know, Scott D'Amore not being in the picture anymore. I'm excited for I'm excited for TNA. This is good. This is very good. What they're doing and bringing in the TNA talents to NXT, and I mean we've seen Joe Hendry on NXT TV. He main evented on NXT not too, you know, last week, which is fantastic.
This week, yeah,
which is fantastic. I mean it really is promising to see all these guys who really ought to be on the main card at Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, it's going to happen sooner rather than later, you know, and it's not that, you know, and TNA fans are going to be a little. We talked about this on the last TNA show, and I say this with a little smirk because we joke about the past history and the reviews that you guys did for ECW back in the day. The relationship that WWE has right now with TNA, it is absolutely the next generation of what we saw with ECW.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And there's good and bad behind it, no matter how you look at it, because every fan is going to pick this and they're going to pick that, and they're going to be like, oh, I love this. Oh, but if this person leaves soon from TNA and goes to WWE, I'm not going to like that. All these things are happening, and they're all in the works. So we just got to appreciate what we're seeing on our screens right now, because it's all evolving before our eyes.
It's all growing. Baron, go ahead.
No, I agree with J-Bone saying. I think there's a lot more good, and it depends on which side of the fence you sit on. Meaning, I watch TNA. I watch it as much as I watch a WWE or even AEW product? No, I did not. But from the outside looking in, I think in my opinion, I feel like it's doing more help than bad. And
yes.
I think definitely.
I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. And I think you're going to get a lot of good matches out of here. And, there's going to be talent that's from NXT, WWE, that's going to move over to TNA to help out TNA, that are fresh, and it may further their time in TNA. I'm not sure what exclusive deals they got going on. I don't know if there's some portion's been bought out or whatever the case may be. But I feel like this cross is going to help, and I think you're going to see a lot of good matches coming from it. And it excites me even more because I want to tune into TNA. I've watched TNA from day one, and I took pretty hefty long breaks, so I've seen the ups and the downs of TNA for quite some time. And it's cool to see that TNA is starting to kind of get the groove back, because there was a dark period when, any TNA fan can say they like the 6-sided ring or hate it. I don't care. I love the 6-sided ring, and I thought it was great. The moment Hogan came over, took that away, and all the shenanigans that happened during that period of time. So it's awesome to see that TNA is kind of coming back, and it's good for NXT. And it's great for wrestling all around, and it makes me want to watch Slammiversary more. So
when TNA was in pretty direct competition with WWE, they were, just starting up. We saw so many wrestlers, just much like what AEW is doing with WWE, jump ship over to TNA because it's greener pastures, and when TNA had first started that product, it was good. It was really, really good. The 6-sided ring was different. It was just a different form of wrestling, but we still got to see wrestling. Was I a fan of the 6-sided ring? Not really. I'm more of a conventional wrestling fan. I like the squared circle, the 4 corners and all that. But when you had people like Hogan come in, Dixie Carter come in, and just kind of ruin it, I feel that really didn't leave much to desire about the company. Was now there was that time where Jim Cornette was involved in TNA too. So that was like early TNA when they still had the 6-sided ring when Corny was there. But I think that you're going to have that when you have companies that are, have such a history, historic past, and you trying to bring it back up to some form of greatness. You can't go wrong with how TNA has done this, with the help of Scott D'Amore and everything that they're doing right now in the present. This is really, really a good time to not only be a fan of TNA, but be a fan of professional wrestling too, as we always say.
There's a whole new crew that's really taking the helm and working hard on getting TNA to that next level. Yeah, and like me and the guys at TNA years ago interviewed guys like Johnny Bravo and said, hey, there's like a 4 or 5 year plan that that we're working on, and each year you got goals you want to hit, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to so I feel like they're working hard to to get to that next step, and I think they're going to get there.
Yeah, and you know what, I think this is a perfect time to wrap up the show. We've had really, really good discussion here, and the discussion doesn't have to end. You can keep commenting on our videos, any videos that you want, in the comments below. And thank you to all the wonderful folks who have live chatted with us and continue to watch the show and watch the program. Subscribe to our channel. We are, and I'm watching this currently. We are up to 191 subscribers with only 33 videos. And the last video that we did, the Money in the Bank preview, thanks to you, 377 views. Thank you. That is remarkable. And
that's awesome.
We greatly, you don't know how much we appreciate that. When we came back from years of doing this show and years of just talking about professional wrestling and then taking a break and then coming back, we wanted to envision this just a little bit differently than what we had been doing. So thank you for joining us on the ride. We definitely appreciate it. And we couldn't do the show without you, the viewer, the listener, the follower, the liker of our videos and our channel. And we certainly appreciate that. And we invite you to come along because there's a lot more discussion that we can have when it comes to professional wrestling. It's not we're not going anywhere, and we're here for the ride because now is a beautiful time to be a pro wrestling fan. And we invite you to come along with us and join us for the ride. So with that being said, I think that's going to wrap up this show for a Super Saturday. And let's go around everywhere and tell our viewers how they can follow us. The Baron, we'll start with you, buddy.
Right here, you can find me on Twitter at Scumbag Jordan. I might be changing my name. I think I might switch it over to Liv Morgan's #1 fan. So I'm not sure yet.
You know what you could say?
It'll be like I love Liv 88, or something like that.
Well, wait a minute. If AEW, if MJF is the scumbag for AEW, why can't you be Liv's scumbag?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm your guy's scumbag.
Liv's scumbag Jordan. I like that.
Live scumbag. Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll brainstorm some ideas.
I like it. I dig it.
And you know what? Mommy won't come after you. It'll be, you're safe, bro.
I think she should probably come after me. Help me out, Rhea. Please.
You can follow Max Magus at Max Magus on X. You can also follow his show, which is Random Shots Podcast. And you can Google that and give that a follow too. J-Bone, how can they follow you, my good man?
You can follow me on the old Twitter box at JBone5150. You can also find me on that other little show called Total Nonstop Impact. Yeah. And it's all the TNA coverage for the week, along news, updates, reviews, and more. And I'm so proud of what we're doing over there. And don't get me wrong, I'm very proud of what we're doing here. I couldn't have been happier to get back lined up with these guys currently and do the weekend show. It's a lot of fun. I feel like our discussions are really we try to not take ourselves too serious, but we have good discussions here. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I think we have. We try to keep the discussions interesting and things like that. But yes, the picture one more time in case anybody missed.
It's got to be my wallpaper on my computer now.
We'll send that to you.
Thank you to the RBI. Appreciate that.
Yes.
We're really happy to be a part of the TNI umbrella. So we're really happy to be teamed up with you, J-Bone, and all the folks over at TNI and TNI UK and all the great wrestling content that comes from you guys. So definitely, if you have not watched Total Nonstop Impact, go to YouTube and just search Total Nonstop Impact. You can also click our channel, and after you subscribe to us, go down and you'll see all of our partners that we partner up with in Total Nonstop Impact plus Smashes Podcast. Great partners with us. You can follow the show on X at The Ramblers Pod. Find us on Facebook too, Ramblers Unleashed, and we could be launching some new social media platforms too, where you can find us, and we'll possibly
working on it.
We're going to dual stream. We're going to grow this show bigger and better than what it is right now, and we have you to thank for it because you are the people that we do this for. So we appreciate you joining us each and every Saturday afternoon, and until next Saturday, we'll do it all over again. Enjoy professional wrestling. Love it for what it is, no matter what company you watch. Enjoy it. We'll see you.
Peace and love.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.